Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another video, and it is my favorite day of the week, Power Rankings Day. I don't know why it's so fun, but I love it. So we're going to go through each team. I'm going to do it live with you guys. I'm going to talk about why each team rose up, why each team fell, and then just go from there. Some teams stayed the same. I will tell you, there is a plethora of teams this week that rose up these rankings. And we'll get to them here in a bit. I'll give you a hint, a lot of NFC South teams particularly rose up these rankings, and then one of them is staying right where they're at. But anyways, we'll get into that really quick. I wanted to talk about Monday night's game. Wow, what a game. Of course, the one time we do our podcast early, we miss a fantastic Monday night football game to recap. So I want to talk about it really quick. What a game this was. The Falcons beat the Eagles 22-21. And I don't know if you guys watched this game, but it ended in classic Eagles fashion. Saquon dropped the ball. They could have easily ran the football. Took it down to a minute. Probably even picked it up. The first down, honestly. I'm watching the play right now here in the corner. They probably could have picked that up if they just ran the ball. If not, they still bring it down to a minute and they're up by a touchdown, and the Falcons have no timeouts. But instead, they let the Falcons come back, and honestly, love to see it. Love to see it. That looked like prime Kirk Cousins right there. What a drive and what a game. Just wanted to talk about that really quick. Love to see it. So let's hop into these power rankings. This changed our power rankings a lot too. And when I was watching this game, I was watching this on my phone, and when the Falcons did not get their first down, when it was fourth down, I literally started changing the Eagles like they won, and it was too early, I guess. So let's hop into these power rankings. This is what our list looked like last week, and it's going to change drastically. So let's go ahead and reset this guy and start from there. So we'll go from number 1 down to number 32. Starting off in first place, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. They are not changing. We're putting them in the Super Bowl appearance tier. Looks solid against the Bengals. They're 2-0. They've played two fantastic teams, and they look like the Chiefs. So they stay in number 1. Still yet to have a team, even really come close to this spot, to be honest with you. Like in the tiers here, we have Super Bowl appearance, and this is the only team, as much as it pains me to say this is the only team, to me, that is worth being in this spot right now. There's just a lot of mediocrity, I feel like, right now. Teams are still kind of figuring it out. But for the sake of the tier, it does say Super Bowl appearance, so there at least has to be an NFC team. So we do have a new team in this tier, and it's not an NFC team. Coming in at number 2, I have another 2-0 team, young team, and the Houston Texans. I think this team looks solid. They're going to be good this year. Week 1, you saw all of their stars, show out and have a great game. That's just a really good sign for Texans fans. And I think, it was kind of a scrappy game Sunday night against the Bears, but they still pulled out the win. Their defense looked really good. So, I'm feeling really good about this team, and I think they deserve number 2 right now. Honestly, there's not a lot of teams, that I think the gap between the Chiefs and the Texans is pretty big. But I do think the Texans are going to have a great year this season. And then coming in at number 3, by the way, the Texans I don't have them on here. I believe they were number 5 last week. I don't know why it didn't save, but they rose up about 3 spots on the rankings, from number 5 to number 2. Coming in at number 3, dropping 1 spot, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to put them in Super Bowl appearance tier. They were this close to winning Monday night. That sucked, the way that they lost that game. But I do think they're still a very solid team. I think they just have a couple kinks they got to work out, early in the year. But I think overall they look better than they did when they finished last season. So that's promising. I think they could make a Super Bowl appearance. But like I said, I just threw them in there because I had to have an NFC team. But we're going to drop down to our NFC/AFC championship loss. And I'm going to go ahead and at number 4, staying right where they're at, I'm going to have the Dallas Cowboys coming in at number 4. Very embarrassing game against the Saints. Still think this is a solid team. I still think that it was just kind of an early season fluke. But if you're a Cowboys fan, you're hoping that they look better against the Ravens. I'm not hoping they look better against the Ravens, obviously, but I'm a Ravens fan, so I still think that this is a very good team. And I think that they were just showing their playoff form a little bit too early. I think they'll kink that out. And coming in at number 5, never thought I would at any point in this season rank this team in the top 5. But rising up 11 spots, I have my second favorite team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coming in at number 5. I could easily see this team going to an NFC championship. The Buccaneers look fantastic right now. They just beat the Detroit Lions, got their revenge. And what I thought was most intriguing about that win is I think this offense is electric. This offense can keep up with any offense in the league, I think, at this point. Honestly, and their running game isn't even that good. Like, if they could have a decent running game, they could be kind of like the Chiefs, where they control the game on the ground and they still have a great quarterback option, an efficient quarterback option to go to. But running game is still yet to improve. But I do think that the Buccaneers look solid right now. But what I'm trying to say is, against Detroit, their defense looked fantastic. And they held a Lions offense that is super good, to just 16 points. And I think that when you look at this team, the defense is probably their biggest weakness that'll hold them back in the playoffs. And they're looking pretty good so far. So that's very promising. They won against the Lions despite giving up 4.5 sacks to Aiden Hutchinson. Absolutely ridiculous that he even had that stat line and lost. But the Bucs look good right now, and I could not be happier. Coming in at number 6, dropping a couple spots. They dropped 3 spots to be exact, from number 3 to number 6. I have the San Francisco 49ers. Just looked really sluggish against the Vikings, but by the time they even got any rhythm at all, it was just too late. Personally, I was excited seeing that. I'm always rooting for the upset, and especially when it's Sam Darnold going against his former team. I thought that was awesome. Really good game to watch. I think the 49ers are still a really good team. I just think that so far early on in the season, they just, they looked good against the Jets, but like I said, against Minnesota, against what should be an under average defense or about average defense, they just did not look good, which is, a little concerning, just because this is supposed to be one of the most elite offenses in the NFL. I know they don't have McCaffrey, but you still have a great passing attack, and you could have attacked this Vikings secondary a lot more than you did. But let's move on here. So another pretty big riser, I have the Buffalo Bills coming in at number 7. They rose up 7 spots from number 14 to number 7. I had this team. You know what I like? You know what a good comp for this team is? Because when I used to follow basketball a lot, I did the same thing with the Dallas Mavericks. I think this team is a really good comparison to the Dallas Mavericks, where they have one franchise-altering player in Josh Allen, and that's apparently all they need. They have a great run game now, and they just find ways to win, at least recently. So they made that reputation for themselves, and it just reminds me a lot of the Dallas Mavericks, where I ranked the Buffalo Bills in my preseason rankings number 16, which is out middle of the league. Didn't even really think they were going to make the playoffs, and they are looking really, really good even without their receiving options. When you can win with Josh Allen only throwing 19 passes, that means you're doing really good. So, Bills look really solid right now. But those are the teams I have for an NFC AFC championship. Teams I think can make it to the NFC AFC championship, but I still need to see more to determine if they can make it to the Super Bowl this year. But we'll drop it down to the playoff win tier. These are teams I think that'll make the playoffs and win a game. Sneak a win in there. We're going to kick it off at number 8. This might be a little aggressive for them. This might be a little high for them right now. But I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers at number 8, starting off this tier. It's really simple. You just had Jordan Love go down with an injury, and you just beat the Indianapolis Colts, who are a really solid team, with Malik Willis as your starting quarterback. This defense looks really good. Running game looks fantastic with Josh Jacobs. And when Jordan Love comes back, this is going to be a pretty damn good team, honestly. Coming in at they rose up 2 spots to be exact. They were in the top 10. And now they're at number 8. Coming in at number 9, we have another huge riser. It's probably going to be the biggest riser you'll see in this video. Rising up 14 spots, a team that I heavily, and I think the NFL world heavily underestimated, the New Orleans Saints, come in at number 9. And honestly, you could make an argument that this team should be higher than this. I respect that. I just think we need to see a little bit more. And I know that's saying a lot. This team's getting off to hot starts and then controlling the game. I just want to see them in a close game. And I think that's where good teams go. Good teams become great teams is when they're in close games with really good teams, and they can finish games off and pull out the win. Because against the Panthers and Cowboys, against the Panthers, it was like, okay, this is the Carolina Panthers. The Saints are also like the complete opposite of the Bengals, where they always start off the season just absolutely electric and melt faces, and then they just freaking shit their pants and don't do anything. So we saw that against the Panthers, which is the freaking worst team in football by far. So we needed to see more. They did it to the Cowboys, which is honestly so impressive. That's why they rose up this much. But I want to see them play some competitive teams, and I think here coming up, we'll see what they're really made of. I think they play the Eagles next week at home. If they can win that, man, I don't know what's stopping them from going into the top 5, maybe even top 3 at this point. But the Saints look really, really good. They just need to keep doing what they're doing. Forget his Clint Kubiak, I think is his name, the son of Gary Kubiak. Fantastic offensive coordinator so far. Great hire by them. So, Saints are looking good so far. Alvin Kamara looks like he's back. Coming in at number 10, we have another NFC South team that also rose up a bunch of spots just recently, and in the last seconds of their game Monday night, we have the Atlanta Falcons coming in at number 10, and I'm looking at it right now. I'm trying to decide. No, I think we're going to stay in the playoff win tier. I do think this team, with Kirk Cousins, could sneak out a win. They probably could, make the wild card, maybe upset a team, and then lose in the second round. But I think this team is super talented. I think that throughout the game against Philly, they were kind of starting to figure it out. And they ended up beating a very good football team at the end. So it was a last-second win. If you ask me, it was kind of – I don't even want to say lucky. That was a fantastic drive by Kirk Cousins. And that's exactly why they're paying him. So I'm honestly really excited for this Falcons team. Looked really sluggish against the Steelers, but I think that's just week 1. A lot of new players playing together and new offense. And then week 2, they started really figured out against Philly. And I think that, it can only just go up from here for them. They rose up 10 spots. Holy crap. Just by beating Philly the other night. Coming in at number 11, a team that dropped about 4 spots, and they're gonna top off our playoff win tier. I have the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff is looking very goofballish right now. He's looking like the goofball that we knew and love in LA before he went to Detroit. He did not look good against the Buccaneers. I don't know if the Buccaneers defense is just a lot more improved from last season, or if Jared Goff is just freaking taking that bag and running. But hopefully he figures it out. He's got a lot of good options. By the way, Jared Goff, you do have Sam Laporta. You can throw him the ball. It would help me out a lot. But anyways, this is a freaking amazing offense with so many weapons. If Jared Goff sucks, it's just a waste of talent on that offense. But I think he'll figure it out. But they do come in at number 11. And honestly, I did not think the Lions are going to be outside the top 10 here. Coming in at number 12, we have a team that has also risen up these rankings. Wow, damn, 12 spots. 12 spots this team rose up. There's a lot of teams that rose up double-digit spots. I love to see it. And they had an upset win Sunday against the San Francisco 49ers. and I'm going to give it to the Minnesota Vikings. I think they'll make the playoffs this year. I am a believer in Sam Darnold. I'm a believer in this Vikings team. They could even get a playoff win here, to be honest. But this team looks a lot better than we thought. This defense looks a lot better than we thought. Honestly, I love to see it. Sam Darnold might be a little Mahomey, just saying. But no, in all seriousness, we saw them. Same goes with the New Orleans Saints, just not as electric. We saw them play one of the worst teams in football. They looked good, which is good. But we wanted to see it against some better competition, and they did. And they absolutely they didn't destroy the 49ers, but they just looked comfortable. They looked good. And yeah, I would be excited if I'm a Minnesota fan, because even if Sam Darnold starts to lose his flame a little bit, you have J.J. McCarthy coming back next year. Oh my gosh. Coming in at number 13, one of our biggest fallers this week, unfortunately, and I'm just being real. They are my favorite team. I don't want to be biased here. They freaking suck buns right now. The Baltimore Ravens come in at number 13, right behind the Minnesota Vikings, and I put them in the playoff lost here. Oh, do I think the Ravens are going to make a wild card and lose right away? Dude, knowing them right now, probably. I feel like John Harbaugh, like every single play call is like, let's just make Ravens fans want to freaking piss their pants every week, and just be depressed every single week. Like, I feel like that's their mission at this point. So I don't know. They're 0-2. They have a real chance of going 0-3, and that's very concerning. They're our first 0-2 team on this list. We'll actually get another 0-2 team right after them, but dude, I hope they can figure it out. I don't even really want to talk about it. Coming in at number 14, dropping 5 spots, so another pretty big dropper. From the same division, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. To be honest, I think dropping 5 spots is a lot. The only reason they did drop that much is just because there were so many teams that jumped up on this list that had really good upsets, because they only lost to the Chiefs by 1 point on I don't know if it's controversial, but a PI call last second. So they looked a lot better from week 1. I think if those Bengals played the Patriots week 1, they would have definitely beat them by double scores. But they still lost. They're still 0-2, and there was just a lot of teams that looked better this week. Coming in at number 15, another huge dropper. So now we're starting to get into the teams that just got passed up by a lot of teams. I have the Miami Dolphins coming in at number 15, and I don't know if I'm going to cut the tier off here. I'm starting to look at the next couple teams. Ooh, because all these teams could go into, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 7, 11, 14. All right, we're not gonna predict that all these teams can make the playoffs, but they're in that area. The Miami Dolphins, I'm going to put in playoff loss tier. We don't know what's going to happen with Tua. I'm assuming he's still going to play football. He just went on IR, which is probably a smart decision, but the poor dude cannot get a break, and it sucks. I actually really like the Dolphins. I like Mike McDaniel. I like just how electric they are at their highest. It's so fun to watch. But they just always have shit like this happen to them, and it's honestly kind of depressing as a football fan. Like, if you're, like, making fun of the Dolphins or, like, happy that this is happening, go fuck yourself. Because, like peak Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel football is such fun football to watch. So it pains me, but, yeah, I got to put him at 15. There's just so many teams that look better right now, and even before Tua got hurt, he looked buns. So it's a little concerning in Miami right now. Hopefully they can turn it around. They just got my boy Tyler Huntley. Shout out Tyler Huntley. Maybe he can turn that team around. And another team I'm kind of excited about this year. They dropped 1 spot, but they're 2-0. I'm going to have the Seattle Seahawks come into this tier. They're right around the middle of the league right now. They've had some easy competition, I'd say. The Broncos and Patriots week 1 and 2. That's some freaking cake work, even though the Patriots look a little bit better than we thought. And they put up a pretty big fight against them. I still need to see them play some better competition. That's why they didn't really move. I don't remember who they play this week, but hopefully it's a better matchup for them and they can prove themselves a little bit, because I'm a secondhand Seahawks fan, I'll admit it. Let's go number 17. I have a team that They dropped 6 spots and they're 2-0. It's actually really weird. But like I said, there's just so many teams that look better than these guys right now. And it's classic Steelers football where they're 2-0 but still just don't look that good. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers coming in at a playoff loss tier at number 17. This defense looks fantastic. This offense is going to be slow as fuck this year unless Russell Wilson is so much more improved than Justin Fields. And Justin Fields isn't even doing that bad. He's doing his job. He's managing the game. He's throwing just check down after check down and yeah, he's not the most electric passer in the world. This isn't the most electric team in the world. But they're still 2-0, and they dropped from 11 to 17. That's actually hilarious. But we'll see. We'll see this next week. If they go 3-0, I'm sure they'll crack the top 10, depending on who they play. Coming in at number 18, I have the Cleveland Browns. So another AFC North team. They dropped 5 spots, even though they did get the win against the Jaguars. It was basically a battle of the mid. And I'm actually going to put them in the missed playoffs isn't terrible tier. I think they were better off last year with Joe Flacco as their quarterback than Deshaun Watson right now. To be honest, I can't believe I'm saying that in the year 2024, but it is true, and football takes you on many journeys in life. But Deshaun Watson looks freaking buns, and I think that they should get rid of him as soon as possible, get Jameis in there, and you will have a better football team. Coming in at number 19, we have a team that I don't even want to talk about them. They rose up 7 spots with their upset this past week. And they're looking like they're not going to be terrible this year. The Las Vegas Raiders, come in at number 19 on this list. And yeah, it was a statement win in Baltimore for sure. Gardner Minshew was just slanging that thing. And who knows? Maybe this is their script going forward. Maybe they'll find some wins. Maybe Gardner Minshew becomes a high-volume passer. But yeah, I think that they're not going to – I don't think they'll be terrible this year. They might even come close to making the playoffs. Coming in at number 20, we have a team that got their ass absolutely handed to them this week, and have another injury in their receiving core. We have the LA Rams coming in at number 20. I think this is a team that's just always going to be solid. I don't think this is going to be that one year where they had a freaking top 5 pick or whatever. No Aaron Donald. They're definitely feeling it. This defense is so young. And, Stafford, his offensive line is banged up. His receiving core is banged up. And he himself is, probably tired. So if you're a Rams fan, hang in there. Hopefully Kyron Williams looks a little bit better next week. But I still think they're not going to be terrible this year. They'll probably be mid. Coming in at number 21. So I'm going to get a lot of controversy for this, especially from Cole. Cole, if you're watching, I'm sorry, man. Coming in at number 21, the team that literally just kicked their ass. I have the Arizona Cardinals, who are 1-1. They rose up, let's see here, 6 spots with their performance on Sunday. Why am I ranking the Cardinals behind the Rams? I think when you look at these teams and you look at these when you look at power rankings in general, it's not like, oh, this team beat this team, so they're better than them. Sometimes that's not the case. Like for instance, like the Raiders beat the Ravens, but I'm not ranking them above the Ravens. The Vikings beat the 49ers, but I'm not ranking them. And I know the Cardinals beat the Rams by a much larger margin than those two teams. But I still think when you look on paper, the roster in LA is a lot more solid right now than the Cardinals. It took a perfect passer rating game from Kyler, which is freaking awesome, and it is a good sign. I'd just like to see another great performance like that from them to move them up a little more. That's all. But I know I'm going to get some backlash for that. Coming in at number 22, I'm a little concerned about this team right now. I'm not going to lie. I had high hopes from them at the beginning of the year, even early in their week 1 game. But they dropped 5 spots this week with their kind of embarrassing loss. But coming in at number 22, I have the Indianapolis Colts. And I think they're going to miss the playoffs this year, but they're not going to be terrible. There's no way. This is still a really solid team. They still have a really good coach. But yeah, losing against the Packers with Malik Willis, I don't know about that, man. All right, coming in at number 23, and Anthony Richardson looked horrible, by the way, which sucks. I'm a big AR fan. But But coming in at number 23, a team that dropped 4 spots, even though they are 2-0. We have another basically another Pittsburgh Steelers team here, but they've kind of had a cake schedule. Even though the first, I'm just gonna come out and say it is the LA Chargers. So they come in at number 23. I think they will miss the playoffs this year, but I don't think they'll be terrible. Now look, they are 2-0, and I know that I just said they had a cake week 1 and 2. And I know, oh yeah, the Raiders beat the Ravens. Okay, the Raiders looked freaking like a completely different football team week 1 and week 2. They looked horrible against the Chargers. And I don't think the Chargers defense is that much better than the Ravens defense. I think they're about the same right now. I just think that the Raiders kind of figured it out. And when you're talking about their week 2 matchup, I mean, they basically played a college football team. So let's see a little more from the Chargers. I'd like to see Justin Herbert get involved more. I don't think the run game is going to be as efficient as it has been the past 2 weeks, going forward. So let's see a little more. But yeah, it might be a little low. I don't know. They are 2-0, but I think that we need to see them against some better teams for sure. Coming in at number 24, we have a team that drops 6 spots, and they need to figure out their fucking offensive line before they lose their number 1 overall quarterback. I have the Chicago Bears coming in at number 24. So they did win week 1 against the Titans. This defense still looks pretty damn solid. But like I said on the podcast, oh my gosh, Caleb Williams was just running for his life the other night. And it's a little concerning just because we don't, they might have a David Carr 2.0 type situation on their hands, and their run game looked abysmal. But I hope that they can figure out their offensive line and get Caleb some more time to throw and improve, because he still didn't look super good against the Texans. Yeah, it just goes to show that you could bring in all these new people, you could have this brand new team, but if your offensive line is buns, you can't do anything. Coming in at number 25. This might be too low for them, but they dropped 3 spots. They are 1-1. It was an okay win, but I have the New York Jets coming in at number 25, right behind the Bears. Yeah, I think the Jets might miss the playoffs this year. I don't know. They just don't really strike me as a playoff team this season, especially when so many other teams are playing above, what we expected them to play. So I think for now, the way that they're playing now, I think they'll miss the playoffs, but I do think that this team will improve as the season goes on, as they gel together a little more. Coming in at number 26, we have a team that I was kind of high on last week, but I am going to start them off in the next tier, which is missed playoffs and is kind of bad. They dropped 5 spots, but they played a pretty damn good game against the Seahawks. I have the New England Patriots coming in at number 26. I do think things are going to fall back to earth a little bit, especially with Ramondre Stevenson and their run game. I think Drake May will start later on in the year. They'll probably lose a couple more games than they would with Jacoby. Well, probably like 1 or 2 more games than they would with Jacoby Brissett. So I think they're going to miss the playoffs, definitely. And I think they'll be a little bad. Little stinky, not going to lie. Coming in at number 27, we have a team that dropped 2 spots, and I'm getting kind of worried about them, especially their quarterback with Trevor Lawrence, who this is a make-or-break year for him so far, and he does not look that good. They just lost to the Browns, who I think didn't even look that good either. So I'm starting to get a little concerned about this team. This might be a rebuild year or an awkward year for them to just retool. But I do think they're going to miss the playoffs, and they might be bad this year, to be honest. And then these next 5 teams actually did not change spots whatsoever. Coming in at number 28, I'm going to put them in this tier for now, but they are getting very close to dropping down. The Tennessee Titans are coming in there. Will Levis looks buns. And then starting off our next tier, yeah, I think, I don't know right now. I think the Broncos are a number 1 draft pick contender. They look horrible, and their team, their offense in general looks so bad. There's literally no options on there. Bo Nix looks pretty bad. They did play a probably the best defense in the NFL right now in the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. So, we can give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they'll turn it around a little bit, but as they're playing right now, they look like last year's New England Patriots. They could compete for a number 1 overall pick. And then coming in at number 30, we have the Washington Commanders, who just won by scoring field goals. The only team they could do that to is the next team on this list, the New York Giants. And then we're not even going to talk about them, the Carolina Panthers. R.I.P. Dave Canales, R.I.P. Bryce Young, R.I.P. this team. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for staying in there with me through these power rankings. Let me know what you guys think. Are my tiers messed up? Am I too low on some of these teams? Am I too high on some of these teams? Please let me know. What would you guys change? And before I end this video, I kind of thought it would be fun to look at some other power rankings from other websites and kind of react and see how they compare against mine. So first off, we'll just run through these really quick. We'll start off with NFL themselves, NFL.com. So they have the Chiefs coming in at number 1. They have the San Francisco 49ers coming in at number 2. They have the Texans at 3. That's kind of looks like my top. Bills at 4. Okay. Lions 5. Eagles 6. Chargers at 7. Chargers at 7. That's kind of aggressive. Chargers over the Saints to me is very, very aggressive. I'm not gonna lie. So it looks like they have the Steelers and Chiefs up next. Yeah, I don't know if I'd put the Let me know. Am I too low on the Chargers? I think 7 is very, very high for them, especially with who they've played. I feel like they're valuing their 2-0 record a little bit too much. Yeah, I don't think I'd put the Chargers anywhere near the top 10 right now. The New Orleans Saints come in at number 8. Like, yeah, I don't know how you have the Chargers over the Saints right now. Ravens come in at 9. Even I think that's too high, and I'm a Ravens fan. Packers come in at 10. Cowboys at 11. Damn, they dropped the Cowboys down a lot. Buccaneers at 12. Definitely should be in the top 10. Like, there's no reason the Chargers should be above the Buccaneers, who just beat the Detroit Lions, who I haven't even seen. Oh, wait, they're at 5 still. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Jets at number 13. Steelers at 14. I think 13 is too high for the Jets as well. 15 Vikings, too low. 16 Bengals, that's fair. 17 Dolphins, that's fair. Fair. Oh, way too low. Way too low. I think, yeah, no, I don't even care if Saquon dropped a ball and it led to a win and they got lucky. This is way too low for the Falcons, in my opinion. Bears, that's fair. Little too high for the Jags to me. Where was the Cardinals at? Okay, so they do have the Cardinals above the Rams. All right. Raiders are still at 26, despite beating the Ravens. Okay. Patriots at 27, and then their bottom 5 is the exact same as mine. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the Chargers at 7. That's kind of crazy to me. Let's take a look at ESPN. They have Chiefs, Bills, 49ers, Texans, Lions, Eagles, Buccaneers at 7. I like that. They have the Chargers at 8. Why is everyone overrating the Chargers so much? They're literally just running the Michigan playbook from last year, and it's working against bottom feeders. I don't understand that. They have them above the Saints, too. I seriously, I do not get that. Seahawks at 10. Wow. They have the Seahawks in the top 10. Respect. Vikings at 11. Ravens at 13. Cowboys at 14. Yeah, a lot of people are dropping the Cowboys. Honestly, I get it. They lost against the Saints by a big margin. Packers at 15. I think that's still too low. I think Packers should be top 10 right now. These are all fair. Falcons at 23. That's way too low. I don't understand that. Even if they didn't beat the Falcons, they were still right there with them. Jaguars at 24. Patriots at 25. Bears 20. And then they have the Colts at 28. That's a little low for them, I think. Okay. A lot of people overrating the Chargers. So let's take a look at All Sports News. I don't know if you guys follow this account, but I like to take a look at their rankings as well. So they have the Chiefs at 1, 49ers, Lions, Texans, Eagles, Bills, Packers, Saints, Cowboys, Bucks, Ravens, Vikings, Bengals, Jets, Steelers, Falcons, Seahawks, Dolphins, Cardinals, Chargers at 20. That's a lot better. I think 20 is a pretty damn good spot for them. What did I have them at? Like 23 or something? Yeah, let's see. I can check. Yeah, I had them at 23. That's a lot closer to mine. 21. Okay. I would say that mine definitely coincides with this a lot more. Their bottom 5 are the exact same. I think that's pretty common amongst a lot of rankings here. Yeah, I respect it. Their biggest fallers were the Ravens, Rams, and Dolphins, and their biggest risers were the Seahawks, Cardinals, and Saints. Seahawks rising up 6 spots. I don't know about that, especially when you have like teams like the Buccaneers and the Bills that put on really good performances, and the Vikings. I would definitely put them over the Seahawks, but I'd say the Chargers are the biggest, like the most volatile one I've seen so far in all these rankings. They're either like in the top 10, like these other fools, or like in the 20s. Let me know what you guys think. Am I too low on the Chargers? Or are they too high on the Chargers? Or is it right in the middle? Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. This was really fun to do. I will see you guys next week with Cole as we do our episode number 4 for this season. And, yeah, have a great week, guys. Thanks.